Oh, hey, what's up? Psych. No one's here. 'Cause you're blocked.
Message, but it's lost in the void. Guess you dropped something I finally destroyed. No receipts, no trace, no digital noise. You're blocked, you're blocked. Can't text me, can't call me. You're blocked, you're blocked. Out of my world now, baby.
Hello, my beautiful bumblebees. Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Vic Mary, and if it's your first time here, welcome. For tonight's episode, I'm going to read the next poem from ATG Diary, Boy Meets Girl. It's a continuation of When He Was a Boy and When She Was a Girl, so if you missed those two videos, go and check them out. It does flow better in order, but it is not required. After the poem, we'll get into some girl talk, where I ramble, vent, and talk about how the theme of the poem connects to modern dating. So let's get it, let's go. When the boy met the girl. Dear Bumblebee, he was taught to hide, she was taught to feel. He feared emotion, she valued what's real. He held it in, she let it show. He feared the end, she chose to grow. He built his walls, she kept her ground. She spoke in truth, he shut it down. He thought her tears meant something wrong. She thought his silence meant she wasn't strong. They both mistook defense for pride. Two lonely hearts on opposite sides. She said too much, he said too little. Both stuck somewhere in the middle. She wanted closeness, but not at her cost. She felt disconnected and refused to get lost. So she left his name in yesterday's thread. Some words are safer, left unread. He wanted softness, but didn't know how. She wanted effort, but he missed it somehow. He mistook her calm for moving on, not knowing peace was her staying strong. She didn't chase, she chose herself. He called it distance, she called it health. Time made them see what pride conceals, how silence numbs and truth reveals. He started to feel what he used to hide, looked in the mirror and dropped his pride. She stopped explaining, stopped shrinking small, her heart still open, but not to them all. She stopped apologizing for all she felt, learned her softness was power itself. They met again, no armor, no game. They saw each other, and they weren't the same. Not the boy who hid, not the girl who appeased, just two souls learning to love with ease. They let go of blame, stopped keeping score, saw the child beneath the war. He learned that love isn't weakness or shame. She learned that peace doesn't mean she's to blame. Each saw their patterns, each faced their parts. He healed his mind, she healed her heart. In learning themselves, they found release, not from love, but from the need to please. Love me.
Yes, yes, let me live my life. Yes, yes, I wanna be free. Yes, yes, don't tell me what to do. Yes, yes, I am my own woman. I am my own woman.
Hello again, Bumblebee. Oh, welcome back to Girl Talk. So, let's talk about how this poem shows up in modern dating. And let me just start off by saying this isn't that game playing, chase me, let me manipulate you stuff people post on social media. This is like the real push pull The kind that happens when like two people trigger each other and neither one really knows the perfect way to deal with it. And honestly, most of us were never really taught how to do that. So, conflict resolution skills isn't something you're just born with, it's something that you learn over time. So, I mean, yes, we can be understanding, but we don't have to excuse lack of effort, right? Now, here's where the poem hits, right? He pulls away when he feels overwhelmed, and she reacts to that distance, right? Her behavior is a response to him, not an equal contribution to the disconnect. If she feels like she isn't being heard, she backs off, and rightfully so. That's why her part is different. And I say part in quotations because she's responding. She's not the one initiating the conflict, right? So, sure, she might get emotional or let her pride get in the way sometimes, but that comes from feeling unheard. She's not creating the conflict. She's reacting to the environment that she's in. So, by the end of the poem, he finally takes accountability. They drop the pride, they talk honestly, and they actually see each other clearly, right? But let's be real. This kind of reconnection is rare. Most men don't reach that level of self awareness until it's already too late. That's why when a man says, I almost lost her, so I got my shit together, it stands out because it doesn't happen often. Listen, I watch another YouTuber. His name is the Public Offender. He talks about patriarchy and misogyny, and he shared his relationship story about his wife. And he talked about how he used to be clueless, not emotionally aware, kind of lazy, basically coasting through the relationship. And he almost lost her because of it. But then he actually looked at himself and said, "Yeah, I'm the problem." And now he's making up for it in a real way, right? Not that fake temporary effort guys do for like 2 days when they say, "I'll make it up to you." And trust me, I've heard that plenty. But that's another story for the next episode. So yeah, so they say, "I'll make it up to you." And then they go back to doing the same behavior. So this guy, you can tell he genuinely changed by the content that he puts out. He's like very passionate, intentional, and you can see the growth, right? So in that example, he's actually the man in this poem, right? But let's be honest, again, most men don't wake up like that. They either pretend to change or jump to someone new, where they finally understand everything after she's already gone, right? And the poem captures that moment, the I get it now, right before the window closes. And let's be so for real. The things that push her away aren't even dramatic events. They're all small moments that stack up slowly. Not communicating during conflict, dismissing her feelings, getting defensive instead of listening, stonewalling when she triggers him accidentally, ignoring her attempts to talk, not keeping his word, apologizing without changing your behavior, right? When he crosses a line, he shuts down. When she crosses a line, she communicates. And let's be honest, some men overpower the conversation just to win. For them, winning the argument matters more than solving the actual problem. But that's a different type of man, right? Not the avoidant one that we're talking about here. So the guy in this poem is more passive, avoidant, and defensive. So yeah, this kind of man usually comes back only when it's convenient or when he decides the timing is right. And that imbalance teaches her he's not emotionally safe. So what is she supposed to do? Stay and betray herself? I mean, in reality, some women do that. But no, like we need to stop. We need to stop, right? Sometimes enough is just enough. So the woman in this poem, she knows better now, right? She has self-awareness, she has self-respect, and she has a vision, she has goals, and she's done. She's done. So eventually she pulls back. and she finally stops reaching out, right? And so then the man misreads it as disinterest. But like I said, it's not disinterest. It's just, well, it is. She's not interested in that dynamic anymore, right? So her silence is a mirror of what he did to her. And that's what finally shows him the impact of his behavior. So in the poem, she softens because she sees this child beneath his defenses, right? She chooses empathy. But again, in real life, most women reach a level of emotional exhaustion where they don't return. They just walk away. Why? Because it takes him months, and for some men, years, to finally get it. Who the fuck has time for that? It shouldn't take us completely getting fed up for someone to finally get their shit together, right? That's what makes this poem like rare. It's a rare version of that story because this version, both people actually learn from the disconnect instead of ending it for good. Now, the version where she finds her happy ending somewhere else, that's a whole ass different poem. That one I named The Emotional Gap. You can catch it on the next episode. So, Bumblebee, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever experienced this kind of push pull with someone you were dating? Do you think most people become self aware in time, or do they just realize it after the relationship is already dead and gone? Was there a happy ending? And if it was a happy ending, what the hell did that guy do to stay? How did he convince you to stay? What actions did that man do for you to say, damn, that was rough? But you know what? You're that guy. You're that guy. I want to know. I'm curious. So drop it in the comments. And until next time, Bumblebee. Bye.
Yes, yes, don't tell me what to do. Yes, yes.